Okay guys, so I guess my wife tells me a lot of people like to watch people do home improvement type stuff on YouTube and whatever. Sorry I haven't caught up on that yet. But anyway, so we have a huge project going on right now. We live in Southern California, or sorry, Central California, and there's a huge water problem out here right now. So our well used to be 500 feet deep, and it's gone dry because the water table has lowered so much. So in the last 7 years, it's gone about 100 feet down. So we're on a list. Takes like 3 months to come get a company out here to re-drill a new one for us. We're going to be 800 feet after this, but in the meantime, we've done a lot of improvements to make the property a little bit more usable, and also get the water tanks and everything that we need for our water system moved out of the way where we don't have to watch it all the time. So real quick, here's a little quick picture of what we have going on, and then we're going to walk through it all and show you guys. So off to the east side of our property, we have 6 pastures over here. The horses take the top 4. We have goats in here, and we're about to get pigs for the bottom ones. Then our little barn is directly behind us right now. The house is down a couple 100 feet away. So what we have going on is we're going to move both of our water tanks up here and here, where the blue circles are with the T in the middle. On the east side of the property, we're running a pressurized water system, which is the green line, and electrical down this direction, so we have more options in the future. On the west side of the property, we also have the pressurized, the green again, the pressurized water system. Goes to our sprinkler systems, to our house, and then it's going to come out further into our pasture for future irrigation. We have a spare power, or spare conduit, 1.5-inch conduit, for future power in case we want to put a 3-way switch or something of that nature between the house and the barn. We'll have a pathway for that. So this red line here, it's going to come down. This is coming to a little shack we have in the middle, or we're about to build in the middle, and then it continues on to a circuit breaker panel that's down here in the top of our, what we're calling our orchard nowadays. We also have a gravity fed 2-inch pipe that's going to come down, so I could fill like our little water tanks and any irrigation that does not need pressurized system. We're going to have a gravity fed system. We have about 100 feet or so, probably between 80 and 100 feet of lift just on our property alone. So everything out past this fence line pretty much will have enough pressure that we won't even need a booster pump or anything to run it. There is also, we're running, our house did not have a very sufficient fire code plumbing situation. So the tank that was down here had a fitting on it for a fire hose, but it was buried in the dirt essentially. So what we're doing now is, from both of the tanks up top, we'll have 7,500 gallons total between the two. It's a 5,000 gallon and a 2,500 gallon. We're running a fire hose pipe, which is 4-inch PVC down here. This is approximately 60 feet from the house. The county requires us to be minimum of 50. So anyways, we're running a nice 4-inch pipe down all this way from both tanks. So we'll have a lot of water down there in case there ever is a problem. We also have the blue line here is coming from our new well. So that will be where the well pumps the water out of the ground up into the tanks. And the orange line is a control line. So when the tanks are full, it will send a relay down here to this area. There's a relay down in this circuit breaker panel, and then it will tell the well to turn on and off. So we're going to walk through everything now that you kind of have a very brief description of what we actually got going on, and show you what we actually really have going on. It's pretty extreme. So there's a couple things up here that you can't see on the details, but
hey,
there's
barn water tank. So this is the barn. We're behind the barn.
Behind it is the barn. Sorry.
And this is our new 5,000 gallon water tank, and the other 2,500 gallon water tank will be sitting right here, just so you know where we're at. So everything's tying into this spot.
So we got a 2-inch from this new tank going into the booster pump. It also ties into this tank, which would be where it's sucking for the booster pump, and then it tees off and continues down the property for the gravity fed. So we'll have the big 2-inch gravity fed, and then everything the booster pump needs to is sucking off the 2 inches. So all the gray pipe is for electrical. So this is for the sending unit for this water tank. So we're gonna put what they call an LB, which is, for people that don't know anything about electrical, this is what they call an LB. We've been putting this on there, shooting it over and putting a sweep up to the top. On the top of the tanks is where you mount the sending units. On that far side is the 4-inch where we got coming off for the fire. Where the T is on top there, we're gonna put another 18-inch pipe standing up from there, and then a fire valve on here also. Because if you look behind us here, we live on a pretty steep hillside, and if a fire was ever to come up the side, we want to be able to prepare for ourselves and stop that in advance. All these pipes here, so we have these two are feeding out to the east and west side, and this is the intake for the booster pumps. There's going to be a cement pad here. There'll be a pressure pod sitting here, the booster pump, and then all the valves and everything I need to connect all this stuff. This tank here also, this is the control line for the float valve that will go on the top. This is the fill line coming all the way down from the well. This also goes to the booster pump. So we could fill both tanks at the same time. What's going to happen is this 2,500 gallon tank is going to fill first. It will overflow and go through this pipe that will eventually sit down in here and fill back up into this tank just by gravity. So we will most of the time suck from this tank, and if we have a problem, we still have 2,500 gallons in reserve to switch all the valves over to and suck from if we need to. This 4-inch pipe right here will be for the tank that is going to be plumbed in here very shortly. And once again, the 2.5 inch or the 2-inch over here is where it's sucking out of. So if you look down here, everything runs, in pretty much straight trench lines. This is going to be the east side run. If you look over there, I only have it ran about 30 feet at this time. I need to trench a lot more. But the west side here, we've gotten quite a bit of it done. So we're going to walk down that real quick and show you where we're at with it all. So I have a load of sand coming on Monday or Tuesday, so we could backfill this a little bit better, and I'm going to lift the pipe up a little bit so nothing's sitting on top of each other. There'll be a little bit of sand buffer between it. The total grade on this too has to come up about another 6 to 8 inches also, so we'll be over a 3-foot depth here. But so this was a total, the 4-inch pipe was a total of like 260 feet, so you could just imagine, if you're looking at how many pipes we have here, what this total distance is. This part of the property here, so this part of the property kind of grounds a little bit, so we had to keep the trench line low, so anything going down, no sand or anything will sit in the conduit. So if you look down the pipe part of the trench line here, this has at least a 1/4 inch and 4 feet thick, and there's some spots that are a little bit more, but it still made it. Gotta make a little path here to get over for time being so we can pressure check it. So even though we've trenched a lot further, this is as far as we've gotten with the conduit and the PVC at this point. If you look down here, I've had to expose a lot of utilities. We got the feed going to the barn, the feed coming in from the commercial electric company, and we had a water pipe, and then also the line that went to the old well. So I've had to hand dig quite a bit in this little section. That's why the PVC hasn't been laid yet. It will be getting laid tomorrow. But so this is that area where we were saying we're going to put little shaft wires. So we ran up in here. You can see we got some sweeps on for everything so far. And then everything will continue down this way. You guys can hear me. Everything will continue down this way. And as we need to, we'll tie into the existing sprinkler systems where, like, if you can see right here, I have this electrical exposed. I have equipment to locate cable and stuff like that, so if anybody ever wants to see how that happens, give me a like or something and we'll make it happen. But so this existing sprinkler line feeds the barn and a couple of sprinklers on the east side of the property. So I'll be tying back into that with the new plumbing coming down to make it all pressurized again. So this is where, over here to this is the west of our property. This is where our existing water tank is. This is the one we're going to be moving up top when we're all done with this whole project. But it's kind of an eyesore where it's at. It's right next, it's like 40 feet from the house. It's not very appealing. Plus, the people that put it in did not compact the soil properly or build a proper retaining wall. So if you look at it, it's kind of leaning to the side. And every year that it rains, it sinks a couple inches more. So hopefully this project's gonna be done in another month or so. This thing won't be a problem anymore, and we won't have to worry every time it rains. But so once again, this is the commercial power company's feed coming in. If you look over here, it sweeps right into the house. Like I said, I have equipment to locate this kind of stuff. And then this line here feeds out to that handhole box, and one goes up to the barn, one goes to the well. So like I said, had to expose all that stuff again. So this is what we're calling our orchard. This whole area, this fence line is going to actually extend up to about where that brown trailer is. And this entire area down to that fence line to the south here will be our pasture. We've put this block wall in. It's about 66, I believe, by 45 feet or so. We terraced that off a little bit, and we're going to probably put another one up in this area, and then one where the brown trailer is. But so anyways, this is where we're at with this project, guys. Right where the backhoe is sitting, to the left of it, is where all the electrical lines are going to go, and just to the right of it, you can see the disc harrow up there. The well is going just in front of it, the new well, and eventually we're going to cut some planter beds in the side of this hill. So if anybody likes seeing this kind of stuff, even one person to give me a like, I'll continue to post these videos. This is pretty much what I do every day when I get off my normal job, so I can post videos probably 5 times a week or so if anybody's interested in watching this kind of stuff. It might be anything from electrical to plumbing to welding to finished carpentry to framing to concrete work to who knows what I'm doing every day. But if anybody likes watching this kind of stuff, let me know. Like I said, one like, I'll start putting stuff up. And we're going to start calling ourselves Bonafide Ranch because we like to do things properly up here. And we hope you guys do too. Nice talking to you. See you later, man.